Things just got a whole load worse for Meghan Markle because her sister Samantha ain't going anywhere.
I do believe because there are no delivery certificates.
In this case, about whether you think the birth was real, whether you think there was a surrogate, whether you think Meghan was wearing a moon bump, the fact is Harry and Meghan lied. Buckingham Palace lied on their behalf. There was a complete cover-up over the birth of Prince Archie.
But if she hasn't had the children herself, or Harry hadn't been involved, then they can't be in the royal line. They have to have royal blood, those little ones. Without that, there's no chance of them becoming a member of the royal family.
What I discovered was, of course, that she was hunting for a man in England from 2013 onwards, when her marriage had crashed and she couldn't find anyone in Canada at the time. And she wanted wealth and she wanted fame. And she targeted, there's no doubt, she targeted Harry.
Our fathers. So we have to include the men when we are self-glorifying. You know, there's got to be some acknowledgement there.
That belly looks very abnormal. That it looks very strange. If you look up close in the video, and I encourage people, look at this. It looks like there's like a bag or like some sort of something shoved up under a dress. It does not look like a pregnant belly. It looks all bumpy. It's very strange. It looks like what you'd get if you put like a pillowcase full of like socks or something under your dress. You gotta look up close. There's very strange bumps coming off of that pregnant belly. I don't know why, Stu, but for the first time ever, I'm kind of like, is this something we should be indulging? Because it doesn't look normal to me. The belly doesn't look normal, doesn't look like where a pregnant woman's belly is, and I don't understand what all those bumps on the belly are. I don't get it.
The whole description she does of the Portland hospital, the birth, that was completely fabricated. We all know.
Something like that. So she wasn't even pregnant. So it's very weird. And Harry, it was said to Harry, not to her. I mean, she just came in.
We know that she never intended to go to the Portland hospital. She intended to have the baby at home. We know that they deceived the public about the birth data and time of the whole event. So, and also, you know, even it goes down to the lawyer saying that in that statement, when they have that long attack on the Mail, which is astonishing, that Meghan, we know she lied in her statement.
Harry and Meghan Markle's surrogacy scandal has entered the mainstream media domain.
It was a dreadful thing to do and actually completely wrong. He is quite hard and harsh.
He became hypersensitive and blamed the media for the crashes of his relationship.
And not a surprise here because, yeah, she lies a lot about her stuff. We've caught her in so many lies. Her own sister has come forward, her family, everybody is exposing the lies that she's been telling.
A clear motive for writing family off because it would seemingly justify and perhaps delay the revelation of all of the lies that she had told the royal family.
It's living a life that she's winning and she's doing all these great things, but the reality is not that. The reality is she's
What if the royal love story wasn't magic at all, but the biggest lie ever sold to the world?
In my opinion, she would still be a waitress if it wasn't for Dad.
She doesn't have a father.
No, and that was all lies too. And to suggest that at one point that they...
What if Meghan Markle's shiny image, the perfect mom, the bold duchess, was nothing but an act? What if the voice of modern royalty wasn't just hyped up, but carefully built from scratch to fool us?
This scandal comes as no surprise. Speculation about the children has been simmering for years.
For years, Meghan sold herself as the rebel who beat the system.
Meghan is using everything for publicity and not really truly there. We know how she treats her family and friends.
The woman who claimed she broke the royal rules.
I grew up as an only child, which everyone who grew up around me knows. I would have loved to have had siblings, so I'm so excited to be pregnant so that Archie has someone.
But her own half-sister Samantha Markle claims the whole story is fake, a role Meghan's been acting all along.
And there's a very big difference. It was deliberate.
And now the cracks are wide open. This isn't just family drama, it's a dangerous lie that could tear the monarchy apart.
This crisis won't die down until the irrefutable truth comes out.
This isn't just about nasty headlines or tabloid chatter.
But I just can't stand her. I just think she's such a phony. I love to make fun of her because she continues to give me so much material.
We're talking about claims that Meghan didn't just twist the truth. She built a whole new identity from scratch.
People think her kids are fake. They think they're AI.
An identity that clashes with reality, breaks royal tradition, and if revealed, could even threaten the future of her own children.
Like, why lie? It was just so truly bizarre.
Silence everybody and just produce a DNA sample.
Because when a hidden woman comes out saying she's the real mother behind Meghan's so-called perfect pregnancies.
Well, look, Radar Online, in fairness, they do quote you and say Royal Author Lady Colin Campbell recently challenged the conspiracy of silence and misinformation surrounding both tots.
The real question isn't if Meghan can fake another interview, it's if the Duchess can survive the truth.
If you had those things, it would be very easy just to put them out there and say, this is what happened. You know, this is what it is.
Samantha Markle didn't show up to cry about being left out. She came swinging, ripping apart the shiny image her sister built piece by piece.
Effective commercial of sorts, then.
Yeah. Were you surprised, Samantha, that your sister tried to make out that she's some sort of repressed?
From the first word, she flipped the story. Meghan isn't some poor victim of the press. She's the mastermind of her own fake empire. Samantha is saying out loud what millions have whispered for years. This isn't real, it's theater, a Hollywood script wrapped in royal lace.
When she said, I lost my father, we knew that she didn't lose our dad, she iced our father.
Every book, every interview, every staged photo op is, in her words, not truth, but propaganda.
I don't like to say it, but I gotta say it. I don't know of anybody that cold to do this.
Meghan didn't step into royalty with grace. She rewrote her life story to play the role, cutting out anyone who ruined the image.
It was planned from the beginning.
Family ties erased, struggles rewritten, and motherhood. Samantha says that's the crown jewel of the con.
I'll tell you why. What she told the royal family, what she told Harry, wouldn't have jived, wouldn't have been consistent with the truth.
This isn't some jealous sister rant. It's a full attack on Meghan's credibility. Samantha isn't playing bitter sibling. She's the one tearing off the mask. And there's no middle ground. Either Meghan's story is true, or the Duchess has been acting in a costume so real it fooled the whole world.
We were kind of puzzled when both sides of the family were kept away from the royal wedding, and we started wondering, what's up with this? Like, why? And we started to realize, aha, when you have a wedding and people start drinking champagne at the reception, they start talking.
Just when people thought Samantha's claims were explosive, the story blew wide open. Out of nowhere, a woman known only as DL stepped forward, and she wasn't tossing rumors, she came with proof.
With either Archie or Lily, and it needs to happen. They need to prove that those children, Meghan and Harry, are not entitled to privacy in this matter. And their privacy is trumped by our right to know that no bastard is going to sit on the throne of this country. All Harry and Meghan need to do is prove to us that she popped those babies out. And that's all they need to do. And if they don't, it is unfair on the children. It's also unfair on the royal family.
DL showed up with hospital bills, medical records, and whispers of a lockdown NDA. Her claim, she's the real surrogate behind Meghan's royal pregnancies.
So all of the pictures, my point is, out there were inconsistent with the idea of a real pregnancy.
According to DL, Meghan's glowing baby bump walks in the spotlight were nothing but smoke and mirrors. She says that while Meghan was striking Instagram perfect poses in designer coats, DL was the one carrying the real royal heirs, alone, hidden, and silenced.
People like Meghan will always stay with the man if there's no better option.
What began as promises of privacy and fair pay, she claims, twisted into betrayal. The royal fairy tale DL suggests was a cover-up so polished it erased her from her own story. And the imagery cuts deep, while cameras flashed on Meghan's staged bump cradles.
We're paying multi-million-dollar PR firms to tell your story the way you controlled it, the way you wanted it told, while you also disparaged and silenced others.
DL says the truth was happening in secret clinics and lockdown homes. Out of sight, out of mind. If even part of her story is true, Meghan didn't just bend tradition, she weaponized illusion, turning motherhood into her most powerful costume yet.
Absolutely. What we're really now seeing is that both of them, having posed as the victim for so long, are really the aggressors.
At first, DL's claims sounded like tabloid noise, just another wild rumor. But then came the specifics. Not whispers, not recycled gossip, but detailed accounts of recruitment meetings in California, contracts signed in back rooms, and months of isolation that felt less like pregnancy and more like being trapped inside a royal vault.
And I thought, what is she not contextually aware if she's trying to hide something? This is really sloppy pool.
DL tells a story too detailed to ignore. The loneliness of carrying two royal heirs while being wiped from history. This isn't some random troll online. DL talks about postpartum pain, unpaid medical bills, and the crushing weight of being erased. That's where gossip turns toxic.
Buckingham Palace is being pressured to remove Prince Archie and Princess Elizabeth from the UK's royal line of succession until the Duchess provides absolute proof that she popped out both babies herself.
Meghan's glowing empowerment speeches suddenly ring hollow next to DL's claims. Because if her story is real, Meghan wasn't lifting women up, she was burying one under a gag order. For years, critics mocked her as the actress turned Duchess. But DL's testimony cuts deeper. She says Meghan didn't just play rebel royal, she played mother as a role.
She delivered it like an actress delivered it, and opera responded going, wow.
And the more DL spoke, the harder it was to laugh it off as a wild theory. Her words didn't just question Meghan's image, they threatened to rewrite the whole royal script. With accusations this explosive, you'd think Meghan and Harry would rush to crush them.
It's lie upon lie upon lie.
One denial, one statement, even a quick DNA test could end it. Instead, silence. Deafening, deliberate silence. And in the court of public opinion, silence doesn't mean class, it screams guilt.
And when you're pregnant, there's not a pillow under your skirt. And there's live footage of her walking towards camera with her abdomen swaying left to right in a black and white checkered dress.
DL went public saying she'd testify under oath, hand over records, even agreed to DNA testing. And yet, the Duke and Duchess acted like nothing happened.
Meghan Markle's exhaustingly sycophantic and woke new podcast where she ramps up the victimhood with her apparent BFF Serena Williams. It's like them both being...
No answers, no clarity, not even a weak denial. For critics, that silence wasn't grace, it was strategy. Because if there's nothing to hide, why keep the world guessing? Even Harry, once the rebel prince, now looks like either a willing partner in the cover-up or just another pawn in Meghan's script.
That was her goal, #goal, to marry Prince Harry.
Did he know all along, or is he trapped in the same illusion as the rest of us? Either way, by staying silent, he looks guilty too. And that's the twist. The couple who built their empire on their truth suddenly went mute.
But I don't think so. I don't think they deserve to be blessed by the time that they've been together.
Not silenced by the palace, not blocked by tabloids, silent by choice. And that silence might be the loudest confession yet. Royal births aren't just family moments. They're public rituals, traditions built on centuries of transparency. Diana walked out of St. Mary's hospital hours after giving birth, tired but proud, baby in arms, no mystery.
Diana treated her children. It was very important to care about people and not to think about themselves. And that money didn't matter very much. What did matter was to look after people.
Kate did it 3 times, each one flawless.
The London hospital where Kate Middleton famously posed with her 3 newborns.
But Meghan, she tore up the script. No hospital steps, no clear announcement, no solid proof of where the birth even happened. Just secrecy wrapped in confusion, wrapped in a PR disaster.
A royal physician was not allowed to examine her womb. I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but if I were pregnant with a royal child, you would want that child in the best care of the best medical practitioners that money could buy.
Then came the photos that didn't match, the timelines that made no sense, and of course, the infamous folding belly clip that still haunts the internet like a ghost that won't die.
They want to hide their secrets, and I just love digging away to find out what they don't want us to.
Critics say Meghan didn't embrace tradition. She staged her own version of motherhood like a Hollywood set with props and camera tricks.
Absolute media media manipulation. But I thought tonight this was really ridiculous. These are two real imposters.
For royal watchers, this wasn't a new chapter. It was a broken pattern. And in royalty, broken patterns mean danger. What Meghan and Harry called privacy looked more like evasion. Every break from protocol poured gasoline on conspiracy theories already burning. Strip away the glamour and one question stays. Why did Meghan's royal motherhood look nothing like anyone else's? This is where whispers stop sounding like tabloid gossip and start feeling like a constitutional crisis.
Family owes it to the public of each and every country of which the king is monarch to clear up any doubts about anybody in the line of succession. Meghan's conduct is what has triggered all of this. Archie doing a deep dive between the knees. Archie competing with Tom Daley before he was even given birth to. Archie's unique qualities, and we need to remember that Archie was truly unique because his first word was crocodile. And Archie, of course, was the product of a union that maritally started when they were roasting chicken. And I leave it at that. But what I will go back to say, in terms without giving too much levity to their Harry and Meghan's really crazed behavior.
Because if DL's claims hold any truth, the question isn't just who carried the children, it's whether those children even qualify under centuries-old succession laws. Royal bloodlines aren't built on vibes and PR spin, but they're built on proof, lineage, and public record.
But if she hasn't had the children herself, or Harry hadn't been involved, then they can't be in the royal line. They have to have royal blood, those little ones. Without that, there's no chance of them becoming a member of the royal family.
And when transparency vanishes, legitimacy collapses. Tradition says heirs must be born from the royal womb. Witnessed, documented, undeniable. But Meghan's pregnancies? Cloaked in secrecy, hidden by NDAS, covered with shifting timelines. And if surrogacy really happened but was buried in silence, critics warn it could shake the line of succession itself.
I think the palace and the machinery of the monarchy needs to take Harry and Meghan more seriously and make sure that Harry and Meghan's antics don't impact the future of the crown.
Imagine two innocent children trapped in the middle of a constitutional storm. Not because of who they are, but because of what was allegedly hidden about how they were born.
Has been simmering for years. The kids are 6th and 7th in line to the throne, but have been under cloak and dagger secrecy since they were born.
The monarchy doesn't deal in half-truths, it deals in absolutes. Either Archie and Lilibet were born by royal protocol, or the whole story collapses under the weight of lies.
I think that you can't actually continue to do that without any gratitude. There was no gratitude.
That's why this isn't just family drama. It's a crisis that could shake the very crown Meghan once claimed she was modernizing. When most people are cornered, they clear their names. Meghan and Harry, they unleash their lawyers. The moment DL's claims spread, reports say the Sussex legal machine roared to life, threatening media outlets, warning anyone who dared repeat the story.
Yeah, well, it's as if Meghan is now trying to turn your own daughter against you.
Right.
But here's the problem. Threats came, but no denial ever did. Not once did Meghan or Harry say, "This is false, here's proof." Instead, they chose intimidation over evidence, and the irony cuts deep.
She is so odious, it's beyond belief.
This is the couple who sold themselves as champions of truth, spilling secrets in interviews and documentaries. Yet when asked the simplest thing, disprove the surrogate story, they stayed silent and hid behind legal firepower.
Well, I didn't believe it in the first place. I thought, why would he suddenly be all cozy and nice and want to come? And why on earth would Meghan speak to King Charles if she hates the monarchy so much?
To critics, that's not power, that's fear. PR experts rip the move apart. Letters may scare newspapers, but they don't silence the internet. They don't kill whispers. And the silence didn't bury DL's story, it made it sound more real. Because in scandals like this, the danger isn't only in what's said, it's in what's not said. And Meghan and Harry's silence screams louder than any lawyer ever could.
In this case, about whether you think the birth was real, whether you think there was a surrogate, whether you think Meghan was wearing a moon bump, the fact is, Harry and Meghan lied. Buckingham Palace lied on their behalf. There was a complete cover-up over the birth of Prince Archie.
As the silence dragged on, the tide flipped. Polls showed a brutal shift. More and more people started believing DL's story over Meghan's polished fairy tale. The Sussex brand, once propped up by glossy documentaries, Oprah interviews, and staged PR, suddenly looked weak, a house of cards in a storm. The Netflix specials, the speeches about truth, the empowerment talk, all of it replayed under suspicion. What once looked inspiring now felt staged. Behind palace gates and Hollywood mansions, whispers grew louder.
Stuck because she was an actress who became a real princess, who wants to be an actress again, but has to continue to pretend to be a real princess.
Meghan and Harry weren't just fighting tabloids anymore. They were losing the people. Insiders described a couple under siege, not from the press, but from their own collapsing credibility. Rumors swirled of tension at home, of Harry and Meghan acting more like business partners than husband and wife.
It makes good news. People want to read about it. So I think quite soon they'll get bored stiff. But there's something compelling about hearing all this nastiness between, you just want to know. You want to hear about it. You can't believe it. You can't believe what he's saying. You can't believe the lies he's telling.
Desperately holding up a crumbling brand, and Samantha didn't miss her shot. She twisted the knife. To her, this wasn't karma, it was exposure. The downfall of a story built on illusion. The Duchess, who vowed to rewrite the royal tale, now stood accused of writing the biggest royal fiction in history. And until Meghan speaks, her silence keeps echoing like a guilty verdict. This is where we stand. Samantha Markle's shots cut deep.
I just recently found out, it's really sad because Ashley and I were on talking terms. I thought, bonding after not speaking for a while, even though we did speak. I wanted my kids to be raised with their grandparents because I didn't trust babysitters.
DL's surrogate claims detonated, and Meghan and Harry's silence became the loudest answer of all. What started as family whispers has snowballed into a constitutional crisis, a PR disaster, and a collapse of credibility no Netflix deal can polish away. The Duchess once sold herself as a symbol of truth, resilience, and reinvention. But the longer these questions hang with no reply, the more her story shifts from inspiring to fake. That's the tragedy. The fairy tale Meghan tried to control is slipping from her hands. Every question ignored fuels suspicion. Every legal threat without denial makes the silence louder. And every day without answers makes the modern royals look less like rebels breaking tradition and more like actors clinging to a fading script. And here's the twist. This isn't the first time Meghan's carefully crafted story has started to fall apart. If you think today's bombshells are big, and now Meghan Markle's manipulation tactics on Harry have finally been revealed. We broke it all down in our last video. Don't miss it. This is Hollywood Confidential, where we shine the light where others won't. And the next chapter, it's even darker.